Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheen Aljumay. Raheen Aljumay, broadcasting from here in uh, I was going to say that Houston, Texas. Lord, I'm not in Houston no more. Broadcasting straight out of Atlanta, Georgia. Broadcasting straight out of Atlanta, Georgia. I want to welcome each and every one of you back to the Morning Glow. And I want to say, just just as I was saying just now, man, I want to take this opportunity and thank Houston, Texas. Houston, you did me, man. You did me, my wife, man. We had a great time there in Houston. We definitely had a great time there in Houston. You showed us so much on what they called it Southern hospitality. Man, Houston was absolutely amazing. Had a great time, man. Man, listen. I told you I did a couple of videos. Didn't do a lot of videos. My phone was for whatever reason acting up down there in Texas, and my battery kept dying. But so I wasn't able to do all the lives that I wanted to do. But I did a couple of them. I did a few of them, and y'all have been receiving those very well. I definitely appreciate you all receiving those well as you all have. But I'm gonna tell you something. I told my wife to put together an itinerary for Houston, Texas. Man, listen, good morning, ID. Let me tell you something. She took what I said a little too seriously. She took it a little too seriously. And the reason why I say that, man, listen, from the time we got off the plane, we got there early in the morning. We got to, I think we got to Houston about 8:30, something like that, early that morning. And from the time we got there, how we picked up the rental car. We got a Turo. So if y'all go anywhere, there's an app called Turo, Turo. If you haven't heard of that, you need to check that out. Turo is a great app. It helps us out every time we go on a trip. Instead of going to the regular rental car route, going through all those technical, we do it right there on the app. Turo have the cars ready for us when we get there. Never had an issue. Never had an issue. Um, Man, I'm gonna tell you something. From the time we got in the rental car, we went straight from the airport. We didn't go to the hotel. Most of the time, people go to the hotel, do the things. She didn't want to waste the time because she said you can't check into the hotel until a certain time. So we're gonna utilize that time as well. Man, listen, this young lady, this young lady had us going straight from the airport to the what was the space center to the space center, man, and from that we were going, we were constantly going, man. We finally got to the hotel. We might have got to the hotel. Supposed to could have gotten it about 12. About 3 o'clock, we finally went and checked into the hotel. Good morning, I'm Broken. Good morning, Broken. Good to have you. Checked into the hotel about 3 o'clock. Went in, checked in, put our bags in the room, and left back out the door. Left back out the door. Got back to the hotel. This is the first day. This is Thursday. Got back to the hotel. Probably about 10 o'clock. Got back to the hotel. Good morning, Norris. Good to have you, Norris. Got back to the hotel probably about 10 o'clock. Rest, took a shower, rest, got up. 7 o'clock the next morning. We went downstairs, ate breakfast, and hit the road. I went back up because I left my phone. Went back, picked up my phone, hit the door again. This is Friday. All day Friday. We got back to the hotel probably about 10 o'clock on Friday. The whole day. The whole day activities. We weren't just riding around looking for stuff. She had an itinerary. We went from one place to the next place to the next place got something to eat to the next place. Then this was on Friday. Saturday. Got up 7 o'clock. Got up 7 o'clock in the morning. We didn't go downstairs and eat breakfast because we already had food left over. So we warmed up our food that we had from the day before, ate that. That was our breakfast. Hit the road again. Hit the road running. Let me tell you something. Man, we had when I tell you we had a full itinerary, we had a full itinerary the whole day. The whole day was consumed with stuff that she had for us to do. And like I said, but we talked about what we wanted to do while we was there, and we put together a list. And from that list, she put things together, and it was full. Got up Sunday morning. I think 4 o'clock Sunday morning, 4:30. Had to be at the airport a certain time. Plane left at 7. Man, listen. Houston, we did not have a problem. We did not. Good morning, Bazaar. We did not, Houston, we did not have a problem. And I want to thank Houston for treating us so well. Everybody, we even went to went to an amusement park, man. My wife had me on rides and all kind of things, man, hanging upside down. Look, man, listen, we had a good time. We had a good time, and she had a good time. And you know, my wife, man, she definitely deserved it, man, because you know, she do a lot. You know, my wife is in education, and she do a lot in regards to education. And so them kids get on your nerves sometimes. You know, she don't talk about stuff like that, but you know, me and my wife been married 26 years, you know. And she needed that break. And it was good. She's back up. Good morning, Daniel. Good yeah. I'm sorry, I want to make sure I got your name right. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Tom. Good to have both of you with us. The phone lines are open 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. What we're gonna talk about this morning? Got a couple of topics I want to talk about. As a matter of fact, before I even get there, what was you all's weekends like? I was supposed to be here yesterday, but I'm gonna tell you something. I told y'all what happened. I told y'all how the whole time went. Man, listen, I was tired. I was tired. I gotta go ahead and tell you, I was tired. And so I tried to get up yesterday morning. Tried to get up, man. Look at him, man. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, I was tired, and I probably won't get paid for yesterday. I probably won't get paid for it, but that's okay. I'm good, man. I needed that rest. I needed that rest, and I'm sure that you know you all want me here when I'm here. Y'all want me here on my best. Y'all want me here on my best. So you know, I couldn't do it yesterday. Couldn't do it. Couldn't pull myself up out of that bed, man. Couldn't do it. And then my wife, she was off yesterday, and you know, and so we both kind of laid there and relaxed a little bit. Laid there and relaxed. So it was nice. It was nice. Houston, again, I want to thank you, Houston, Texas. Don't know if we're gonna make it back there, but I'm gonna tell you something. It's definitely on, again on our list of things that we would like to do, and it's been placed on a list of one of my favorite cities, man. Houston has been placed on a list of one of my favorite cities. So, thank you. I'm multitasking. Y'all bear with me for a second. Good deal. Now we're gonna talk about something this morning. I'm gonna get this conversation started, and I want to hear. And all of you, if you're not busy, give us a call. We love to hear from you as well. We're gonna start off a little light today, and I'm gonna ask you a question. If your fears, your life fears today and back in the day. Good morning, Angie. Good morning, David. Good morning to both each and every one of you. The phone lines are open 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from you. If your fears, if you was looking eye to eye, let me say it that way. If you was looking eye to eye with your fears, whatever your fears are, what would you do? If you were looking eye to eye with your fears, what would you do? Got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Cassandra calling from Atlanta.
My sister. What? Good morning, Cassandra. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
You okay?
I had a procedure done yesterday, so I'm still a little out of it.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, Cassandra. I definitely appreciate you. Definitely my sister. I tell you the truth. I tell the world that it won't help. I tell the world that every day, twice on Sundays. But how you feeling?
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm gonna ask you the question. We jumping right into our conversation for the day, and I'm asking you this question, Cassandra. And we have Tucson on the line. He just called in as well. Good morning, Tucson. Cassandra, now and in the past, let's deal with both elements of this. If you were looking eye to eye with your fears, Cassandra, what would you do?
Punch it in the face. Oh, I'm Well, you asked the question. My fears, I'd punch it right in the face. That's what I do. You know, I mean, what do you do with your fears? You try to overcome it. How do you overcome it? I mean, there's different ways for different people. I'd probably use aggression. Like I punch that thing right in the face. And, you know, you're not gonna make me. I'm not scared of you anymore. I ain't scared. So once I hit him, I think we'd be all right.
Okay. But see, you said something in that, and I found it very interesting. And I do believe you when you say you're a little bit. I believe you.
Oh,
But,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
but you said, I'm not afraid of you anymore. How
Mm-hmm.
how much did it take for you to get to the point? Because a lot of people, they have an issue. They have an issue with getting to that point where I'm not afraid of you anymore. Cassandra, what did it take?
Mm-hmm.
What did it take for you to get to the point where you can say, I'm not afraid of you anymore?
I had to stand up to the fear. You have to face it and say, okay, this is something I'm afraid of. Well, let me tell you something I'm still not afraid of. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just putting it out there. So about 2 days ago, I had a bird to fly in my house. I had my patio door open, and a bird flew in my house. Now I love birds, but I don't want him willy nilly flying around coming in the house. So he came in the patio door and I ran out my front door. So no, for real. I ran out my front door and I'm running down the hall. So my neighbor, I guess she heard me, and so because I was like hollering, I don't be playing with stuff. So nothing crawling, flying, nothing. So she was like, well, what's wrong? I said, there's a bird in my house. And she was like, and you left the house? I said, yeah. As long as he paid the rent and the electric, he can stay. I don't have a problem. I ain't going to be in there.
Wow.
So he can stay. Oh, no, I'm not playing. So he can stay. So she came in and she, she went through my rooms and she was like, well, he must have flew back out because he ain't in here. So I was like, okay.
He might
yesterday... Huh?
He might have followed you out. He may.
Man, I don't know what he did, but anyway, I know what he did now, but I didn't know what he did then. Well, I came back in the house for 2 days. I had a big event over the weekend. For 2 days, I was running, taking care of that. Yesterday, I had the procedure. I was under the anesthesia, which affects me really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laying in my bed. My closet door is open, and I see something flying toward me. I jump up, run to the balcony door, open that door, and run out my front door. And I'm looking in my house, and the bird is flying around in the house. And finally, I guess he realizes the door was open, and he went out.
Okay.
So that was a huge, so I'm not over that yet. That's a fear that I'm not over. I don't play with stuff flying and crawling. Period.
Wow. I wonder how you would act.
That one.
I wonder how you would act if a snake came in.
Oh, it'd be off. It'd be same way I reacted with the bird. It would be crazy up in here. I mean, literally, I do not do creepy crawly.
Mm-hmm.
I'll fight a demon, but I will not. I will not fight anything creeping, crawling, and flying.
Wow. I'm gonna come back. I want to go to Tucson. I got him on hold, but I'm gonna come back to that. What you just said. Because that's something that's a powerful conversation, that what you just said. I'm gonna come back to the hold for 1 second. Tucson, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. I ain't got no birds flying in the house, but hey, I got raccoons on the ceiling.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well,
raccoons on the roof.
That's the new movie, like Snake on the Plane, Raccoons on the Roof. That's the new movie, brother. That's the new movie.
I mean, for real. We just did the roof at the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all the noise, we've been hearing some things and didn't know what it was. From squirrel, some say coon, because Anyway, I can't. I don't want to waste my time with that conversation. You might say you got 30 seconds. So go ahead. We'll just talk about it.
Exactly. But
anyway, you talk about fears. I should shine the light. It was nighttime. I shined the light on the coon, and I thought it was going to run.
Mm-hmm. Oh no!
It did. It ran towards me.
Ooh.
So.
I just want to know.
I tell you what, I move faster than the coon.
Now, Don, you supposed to tell the story right there, out of your fighting stance, and say, Come on, sucker. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
Man, you
come
ain't
on,
never met
sucker.
a coon. You never met a coon.
You're supposed to have stood your ground and say, look here, I wish. No, that's when you're supposed to say, I wish you would. I wish you would. That was
Yeah. Did you hear about the guy that got in the tree with the coon?
what happened?
And him and his friends was hunting. He said, shoot. One of us got to get some relief. Coon was whooping him. That day.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
we actually the question this morning, and Tucson being Tucson just being Tucson. That's all it is. But listen, Tucson, on a serious note, though, if you could look eye to eye with your fears now and in the past, when you was a young Tucson, if you could look eye to eye with your fears, what would you do?
Now I'll fight them. Like Cassandra, I have to fight them. I fight my fears.
Mm-hmm.
Before, I'm terrified of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Snakes for real.
Mm-hmm.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about to the point where I remember, as kids, we would play in the field, and they had what we call gullies, and they had water moccasins.
Mm-hmm.
We swimming, and they swimming with us.
Wow.
We didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Kids
Mm-hmm.
don't care.
Yeah.
We just want to play. So
Mm-hmm.
we had a bike trail. So we riding the bikes through the trail where we play and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden I stop. And my brother says, Donald, don't move.
Mm.
There's a snake between your legs.
Wow.
And I couldn't help but follow instructions because that's what happened. I couldn't move.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
I froze. I'm talking about I froze.
Wow.
And so back then, what I would do with my fears, I freeze, panic, totally.
Mm.
Now I've learned that you just got to fight your fears. You have to, because they're not going to go away.
Yeah.
Unless you fight it, they'll stay there and have you froze up.
So can your fears and watch this? Can your fears kill you?
You know what, Raheem? Scared folks will either hurt you or get you killed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You don't want to. You can scare yourself to death.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ever Cassandra too? You ever heard where the witch got you told something like that? When you ever had a dream and you couldn't wake up out of the dream, you knew you was woke, but you woke up screaming and nothing was coming out. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have heard of it. Yeah, I have heard. As a matter of fact, my uncle and my aunts, they used to talk about that happening to them all. They were stuck in they couldn't even move, man. I was like, wow, what are you talking about?
They say you're the witch on your back.
Yeah.
I remember and I know I'm out of time, but my auntie had passed. So in my dream, I woke up. I was at the church, and during the wake, where we fellowship, family gets together, and we're all in the church talking, and all of a sudden, my auntie's in the coffin, and she says, calmly, she says, "Y'all cut all that noise out."
Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow.
And then she repeats herself. Didn't I tell y'all? She comes coming out the coffin, and she says, "Didn't I tell y'all to cut that noise out?" Well, they had just waxed the floor. Guess who was slipping? Me.
Mm.
And I woke up screaming with nothing coming out. So anyway.
Wow. That's different there, brother. That's different. Let me say hello to a few people. Robert, good morning. Robert, good morning. Moroff, I hope I said your name right. Good morning, Manuel, Chris, and Emu. I think that's Emu. Good morning to you all as well. Rico.
What's going on, man?
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Man, out here trying to get this adrenaline going and get this metabolism going in this cold weather, man. You know what I'm saying? We in that phase of going from cold to sort of warm. I ain't gonna even say warm, but yeah, I'm gonna say cold in the morning.
There you go. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I was talking before y'all came on about Houston, man. Houston is still hot, man. Houston is 90-something degrees over there, brother. It's still hot in Houston. It's still. I came here, man, and when we got here, I was like, man, it's cold. And so yeah, there's definitely a difference. But Rico, I'm asking a question this morning. If you now or in the past, in your past, if you could look fear eye to eye, look eye to eye with your fears, Rico, what would you do?
I'd probably do the same thing I did then, depending on what the fear is.
Mm-hmm.
If it was something that made me uncomfortable and I felt like I was being pressed into a corner, I'm gonna get violent.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if it's something you bring up the past, if it's something that I did and I fear that if somebody found out I did it, I may have to suffer some very severe consequences. Then I started moving like maybe I went through a panic phase, and then I started, actually just thinking better. I would start maneuvering to try to make sure I avoided whatever suspicions that were put out there about me, distance myself from it.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what the fear is, because sometimes people do things they don't want nobody to know about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the worst thing that can happen is that somebody finds out, because the stuff gonna hit the fan then.
Mm-hmm.
You might end up in prison for the rest of your life.
Wow.
There's a lot of people walking around here in these streets right now. That's the last thing. Their biggest fear is somebody finding out that they the one that did that thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, put yourself in that situation. What would you do if you know you did something in the past that till this day people don't know you did it?
Mm-hmm.
It may have been going behind somebody's back with their wife or something.
Wow.
You made up. You know that what convinced you to want to do that. You knew it was wrong, but something it was something about that woman that made you say, "Man, I got to do it."
Mm-hmm.
But your biggest fear is getting caught, because if you get caught, you might end up being a victim of a crime of passion.
Exactly.
And that's your biggest fear. So what do you do, in those situations? My biggest fear was either not do it, or if I was tempted and being low down enough, try my best to plan so I can accomplish that goal and avoid the consequences that I feared.
Wow. Wow. And see, fear is something, Cassandra, that, and me and Tucson talked about it, fear can really hurt you. Fear can hurt you or make you hurt yourself if you don't deal with it in the right way. If you run into something that you really are truly, really afraid of and you're scared of it, Cassandra, getting out the way of it, you can hurt yourself trying to just get out the way. What do you say to that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I mean, it's I won't back down from a demon. Those that believe in demonic activity, I won't back down from that. But there are natural things that I will hurt myself trying to. And I have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I have done it. I've hurt myself trying to get away from stuff. I mean, so I can't judge anybody when it comes to their fears, because we all have different fears, and some of the things that we're afraid of don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it don't make no sense for me to be afraid of a cricket.
Yeah.
But a cricket will make me hurt myself. It's just simple stuff that it's like, girl, as bad as you are and as much stress as you talk, you scared of a cricket? A cricket? You scared of a frog? Yes. I will hurt myself trying to get away from those things. So yeah, it can hurt you.
Wow. Wow. Tucson, is there a way? Is there I'm asking, is there a cookie cutter way to overcome your fears?
Scared people have written books and they're still scared.
Wow.
No, there's no cookie cutter. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody got their own fears. See, Rico mentioned something. I mentioned something. Cassandra mentioned something. It just depends on what the fears are, but there's no cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are are some things that, for instance, I'm gonna take to the grave. I got to.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a fear. I don't know if it's a fear. I don't care if nobody find out anything about me because they've been digging ditches all my life. I don't care. I give them the shovel by now.
Yeah.
It'll make me no difference.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I have watched people dig ditches for me, and I have to pull them out of it. So it don't make me no difference.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's how that works. Demonic forces. I'm not too. I see people. They worry themselves about things they can't necessarily see and that are real.
Yeah.
But the spiritual warfare that we are fight against is we have to be strategic so we won't fight against each other.
Yep.
It makes it better because you know, if you can't fight a spiritual war physical, because you're gonna lose every time.
Yeah.
Because you're having the wrong fight. There's so many different avenues of this fear thing, man. You got a subject this morning.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, before I run out of time, I remember when I don't know, I might have been old enough to like girls, but I was scared of them. I was scared of girls. Listen, I remember I was at this, my dad used to pastor this church in the country, and this girl, I finally got a chance to talk to her, and I sweat till I wet my shirt real good.
Good
I'm
Lord.
talking about, I'm sitting down there. It wasn't that hot. I wish I still was scared of girls.
So you wish you was? Lord Jesus. Rico, talk to me, brother. This thing called fear, man. And everybody have their own fears, phobia, whatever they want to call it, however they want to categorize it. But if somebody were to come to you and say and find out something that you afraid of, that, like Cassandra say, crickets, they find that you're afraid of something like cricket. Man, you big grown man, how in the world you just get over that stuff? Rico, how in the world, how can they tell you how to get over your fears?
I mean, they can just say it out their mouth. Just as easy as that. They can say it just like you said, to get over your fears. But that don't solve the problem. That don't make it work. You know what I'm saying? So they just really saying words that don't mean nothing. But then once again, you know, it depends on what you have a fear of. You know, what are you fearing some consequences? And somebody telling you just to get over it, and you worried that some fingerprints might come back to you, or when this woman had this baby, it might come out looking like you. It don't look like her husband. It's hard for somebody to tell you to get over something like that, man. Just get over that. No, man, there might be some consequences behind this, man. My wife might leave me.
Yeah.
This woman keep this baby. I gave her the money to get rid of it, and that be lies. She said she was going to get it. Now you're scared. Oh, Lord, I don't want my wife to find out I got this baby on the way, man. I got the lie and said she raped me. She drove me and took it.
What?
You scared. You don't know. You just making up all kinds of stuff to get out of it. Like, you scared.
Rico, did you say she raped you?
Yeah, man. She drove me and took it, man. Told me that everybody was having a good time. And we came over, and when I came over, she was the only one now, man. Next thing I know, I was out cold.
This is my confession.
No, you went over there when she told you to come over there, man. Ooh, I can't wait to go get that. But now you got to tell your wife something. Because you scared if she find out that you was out here trying to get that, and then the way she looked, you actually lowered your standards and got with somebody that looked like that. Oh, man. No, I can't let her know that I lowered my standards and got with this right here, man, just being low down and nasty. I got to tell her that this woman took advantage of me because, ain't no way in the world I would have dealt with anything like that. You don't want nobody to know.
Knowing you wanted the
Still
whole
somebody
time.
going to find out
This is my
that this is
confession.
your taste, that this is your standard, that you don't have one.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of time, man, Donald said something big, too, because I can remember, I'm going to tell you, man, this is how big a lack of confidence or how big confidence is. Have you ever had such an opportunity in your face that if you took this opportunity, the sky was the limit?
Mm-hmm.
But then your fear
That's why
of getting out of your comfort zone, and the fear of the unknown, and the fear of failure,
that's why I was about to go
kept you
next.
from doing it. When you know that all you had to do was take this chance, but your life was fixing to change.
Yep.
And you were scared. You really wanted it, but you didn't have the confidence.
And see, and
yes, I mean, that's what really plays the key part, and I think in all of this facing your fears thing is confidence or the lack thereof.
And see, and that's where I was gonna go next. I was gonna ask that very question right there. Is some people afraid? Is there fear success? Is they afraid? Is there? I'm trying to verbalize this thing right, man, because that's big, Rico. And like I said, that's why I wanted to go next, man. Is there a fear? Cassandra, is there a fear? Do some people have a fear of being successful? Do some people have a fear? Have all the opportunities in the world, but they just scared of being successful. They're afraid of it.
Yes. When Rico said it sparked something in me, and it's very serious. I've had several times over my life opportunities that would have been life-changing, but the fear of failure made me freeze. I didn't take the opportunity. Wow. And I'm talking like I could have been set right now if I had taken a couple of those opportunities. They were legit opportunities, but I don't know why. Fear of failure.
Yeah.
Just like I can't do this because if I fail, I don't know what would happen or what I would do with myself if I failed at this. And that very mentality stopped me from pursuing the very thing that literally could have changed my life forever. Absolutely. So that's a good one.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing how that happened, because there's a lot of people that walk into the alley. They're afraid of it, man. They have all the talent in the world, and people look at them and say, man, you're going to be this and you're going to be that. And they always tell them, you're going to be successful, you're going to be this. But they have this things on them. They're just afraid to take that chance, man. They're afraid to take that next step. Like they say that they're afraid to jump off the bridge, man, jump off the cliff. Like people say, sometimes you got to take that step off the cliff in order to be successful. And we're not talking, when we say this, everybody, we're not talking about suicide, nothing like that. So get that out your head. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about taking that step into success, into being successful and doing the things that you need to do, that you're called to do. So, Tucson, why are some people afraid to be successful?
Because that's probably a bottom. Failure is failure is the part of the process of success. And we hate to fail.
Yeah.
So we never succeed because we don't try. Because we might fail. And repeat that cycle. I used to be scared of my potential.
Wow.
Do you believe that? Because I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't know it because I've taken a look at it from the eyes of others, and that ain't good. Especially when they're kinfolk and people you know. Because how can it be you with all your secrets and the things they know about you? How dare you say you going up when everybody else is down? Remember, it repeats itself over and over, from Cain to Joseph to Moses to Jesus. How dare you say you King of Kings and the Son of God? How dare you outdo me in sacrifice? How is it that you can tell me that me and my brothers and my mother and my father gonna pay homage to you? I wish you would. We're gonna put you in a pit We're gonna sell you to the Ishmaelites and see how that work out for you. But the end of the story is that you meant it for evil, but God turned it around it for good. But we scared of that because we don't know the outcome. We even see the vision and scared.
Yep. It's plain as day.
It'd be plain to us, but you're the only one that can see it. And when you're the only one that can see it, you got to get folks that don't believe of your potential to go along with you. And that's the hardest thing.
Wow. Rico, what do you say to that, brother? And you brought this to the table, man. Some people are absolutely afraid of success. Some people are afraid to take that next step. They know it's there. They know that they can't do it, but because of the fear, maybe they're just on a job. Maybe they're on a job, man, where they're making quote unquote good money. But if they take their chance on what it is that that's back before them, they could double or triple their money. But they just get so comfortable. Well, you know, I know I got this. I know I got this bird in my hand right here, so I'm not gonna let that bird go. But there's an opportunity right here that's gonna increase everything for you. Rico, why can't they just take the chance?
You just said all the key words. It's a chance. It's a risk. And see, the thing is when you're young, that's the reason why I said when you're young, man, it's good to have positive reinforcement, man, and have people invest in you to actually do some of the things you want to do. Is because if you have a lack of opportunity, that's where the problem comes in. If you start off with that is really the trauma from the lack of opportunity. Because the thing is when you have a lack of opportunity and you know you can be successful at this and that, you know you can be great at this and that, but nobody ever invests in you, so you don't have a chance to do it. And every time you want to do something, somebody's saying no. Then you're gonna start gravitating to and embracing the little things that you do have, because you don't have a lot. You don't have an opportunity to even give yourself a lot, even if it's happiness. So you're afraid to lose what you have already got. It's the risk and the chance that you may lose whatever little bit that you already have, and you cherish the little bit that you have because you never really had a lot of opportunity. And but you're not having a whole lot of opportunity to try and to fail and to get back up and dust yourself off. Maybe the few opportunities you had that you failed, you didn't get another chance. You didn't get a second chance to go do something else. Somebody told you, well, we ain't spending no more money on you. It costs too much for you to be out here messing up. So now you don't have as many opportunities. The ones that you do get, the ones that you do actually succeed in, it's hard to want to take a risk and letting that go. So, I mean, you said the key words. It's opportunity, it's chance and risk, and at the same time, the fear of losing the little bit that you already have. Trying to get a little bit more, but it ain't no guarantee. Might be some guarantees in it. The guarantee might be in your effort. But then what kind of effort will a person have that has given up when they didn't have, when nobody invested in them and gave them a lot of opportunities? So they just settled and embraced what they had. You see, that's how people really, when you want to look at the black community, that's what's going on. You try, you get somewhere, you got to face white supremacy. Now you got to go through the EEOC and do this and that. You got to go through all these hurdles and these obstacles as a black man or woman when you know you deserve it and you've been trying. But now if you come from an environment where that was already the problem is that people gave up quick because they're like, I ain't no need of you trying. I ain't no need of you vote. You know them white folks gonna put in there who they want to put in there. Man, ain't no need of you trying. You know them white folks ain't gonna let you. So you start hearing that because you're hearing, okay, I ain't gonna have these opportunities because I'm black or because I'm this and that. So whatever little bit I got, I better embrace it and cherish it. I mean, like some of our parents told us, beggars can't be choosing.
Wow, Cassandra, what's on your heart, sister? This is a lot right here. This is a lot, and this is reality. So, Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, you know, just think about it. If we just take it from us as a people, the black perspective, our fears, man, they were legitimate. They were legitimate. You stand up talking about you gonna drink out of the white fountain if you want to. You talk about you're gonna go and sit at a counter if you want to. You about to get killed in some of those communities.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
So the fears were real, but at some point, in order to break that fear, people had to go and do the very thing that they feared most, which was being killed, because that was the risk you took. And they went and sat at those lunch counters. They, walked in and drank out of a fountain that they wasn't supposed to drink out of. All the things that they said we could not do. And as a people, we have had to break more barriers, more fear barriers than any group of people that I can think of right now.
Yeah. Wow.
So, there may be other people that have broken as many fear barriers, but I can't think of a group that has had to break as many fear barriers in order to have equality and justice as our people. I may be wrong, but I can't think of it.
Wow. Toussaint, what's on your heart? We got Badger with us. We're going to go to Badger as well. Toussaint, what's on your heart?
We right on time, I tell you. I don't know how to, if how you the hardest thing is starting from the bottom and working your way up to the top with somebody's foot on you.
Wow.
How they say, Rico, they say pull your from the bootstraps. How what's that phrase?
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
I ain't got no boots. You won't give me no. You got me barefooted. At least you want me to walk around barefooted. And then you raise the price of the straps.
Wow.
And make the boots expensive.
Come on.
And so I got to push. And I got to maneuver myself. I got to pick. I got to kind of do like the story. I don't even like country western, but I got to do like Kenny Rogers. I don't even like the guy, but he wrote a song that fits me. You got to know when to hold 'em.
Know when to hold 'em.
Know when to fold 'em.
When to fold 'em.
Know when to walk away. Know when to run. You got to find your money.
Okay,
When
okay,
you
okay,
sit left
okay, y'all. Boy, y'all done turn us into a country station. Lord Jesus, y'all done turn us into a country station. But yeah, but that's what it is. A lot of times, man, you really got to know your environment and know what you're dealing with, and know what obstacles you're up against, because there's been so many. There's been so many. Badger, good morning, Badger. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Hope everyone's having a beautiful and blessed day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're asking a question. We're asking a question right now, Badger. If you now or in the past had to look eye to eye with your fears, how would you deal with them?
Have to look eye to eye with my fears. Yeah, I just walked at them, to be honest. And some of them I didn't get a choice. I just had to deal with it. So it's it is that's hard. Yeah. So if you're talking about my experience and the way I handle fear, I just walk at it. That's just the way I handle it, because the things I've seen, been through, and all that. I just keep walking. Staying stagnant is way too harmful to myself and to those that are around me. You don't grow when you're stagnant. When you're stuck in one thought process, one mentality, it's way too harmful to stay in a fearful mindset.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Definitely love to have your input. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this right before we move on to another topic? Okay, good. Cassandra. Cassandra,
Yes, sir.
is it a
Yes,
fact?
sir.
Is it a fact in this great country that we live in, the United States of America, land of opportunity, land of many, many opportunities? Is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder?
If it's a myth, it's the best myth I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. We all know. We all know it's a fact. I mean, people can pretend, and you know, boy. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I probably make some people mad. What angers me more than anything in the world is a person of color, our color, that says it ain't hard for us to make it here. Ain't nothing hard about it. Boy, that one right there, that sends me into orbit. And there is a card being passed around Georgia, the Herschel Walker. It's about Herschel Walker, and and I saw it on television. They showed the video when he said it. He said that America is not racist. He don't know why black people keep saying that. Boy, I'll punch you in your face instead of you punching me in mine. Are you kidding me? That is the man. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
How do you say that as a person of color living in this skin in this country, and you saying it's not hard for us, or it hasn't been hard for us? Really, where you living?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's
But what do you say to the people, Cassandra, that will say that same opportunities that person or that group or that group have, y'all got the same opportunity. Why can't you just watch that door?
That's a lie. Because let me tell you something. When you think about the mentality of a lot of people about us as a people, all through corporate America, and I've lived through it, even in corporate America, you have people that don't care for black people, period, right? How is it that you have the same opportunity if I'm working harder than that white man? I'm just as educated as that white man, but you will not give me the opportunity to move up the corporate ladder as that white man. How is that? How do you equate that with anything? Man, no. No.
Rico, what is your take on that, Rico? Is it a fact or a myth? Because in this America, land of opportunity, man, you go to school, you could do all these different things, and you could be as successful as anybody else, any other group of people. Is it a fact or a myth that we as blacks have it harder?
Man, it's definitely a fact. I mean, if you know anything about the history of the United States, then that's like to even think that the word myth would even come up, would sort of be considered anti-Semitic. I don't know if you could use that term for us, but you could say any little thing about the Jews and you're anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
So that means you in denial of the truth and the facts of what really happened. And it's sitting right in your face. So, to say that racism, what did you say racism in America is, it's hard on black people over here?
Yeah, is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, come on, man. I mean, we got Jim Crow and civil rights movements and black codes and segregation and integration and George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery and Emmett Till and Medgar Evers and Martin Luther King Jr. and Nat Turner and oh man, shall I keep going?
Wow.
We got Supreme Court cases. We got the first black person to do this, first black person to do that. We got history rewritten. We got so much. We got book breaking. We got gator bait. I keep on going. Medical apartheid. Auto bingo.
Wow.
I keep on going. And
And
so, you know, I mean, man, yeah, man. I mean, you know, if anybody even, I mean, I don't know. To me, this probably shouldn't even be a conversation, man, because it's so obvious.
But
that,
see,
you know, it's almost like we trying to search for something. You know, what I mean, cause man, bringing the word myth, associating that with that question. Nah, that's almost anti-Semitic. I don't think Jewish people would tolerate that.
and see,
if somebody said, you know what, man, was the Holocaust fake? Oh man, they'll go crazy. You heard what you see what they finna do with Kanye? He finna leave that billionaire list. They finna crash his little airplane. Cause he done finally crossed the wrong people. And he don't delete many tweets, but he deleted them talking about them Jews.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they've been coming for him with those terms, anti-Semitic. So I mean, yeah, you know, you can't deny that it's a fact of what the black experience is in America, on this planet, period.
And see, the thing about it, there are some people out there, and one of the reasons why it is a conversation that we're having this morning, because there's some people out there that really think that it's a myth, that, you know, you can go out there and what's stopping you? What's stopping you from doing this? What's stopping you from going out there and being successful? What's stopping you from doing this? And they really, in their heart of hearts, they really feel that. There's some people that really feel that way.
Well, what's stopping them from accepting this a fact? Is it the fear that they have to be aware that they're still black?
Wow. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Is it a fact or a myth that black people here in the United States of America, or even in the world, as Rico said, have it harder? Badger, what do you say to that?
See, this gets into, I know what my personal thing is, but I was also listening to what you were saying. And I've been hearing so much 50-50. From both sides. You know, there's people like me that know that systematic racism and how it affects and things like that. And then there's the other side that doesn't think that it hardly exists. They were so dumbfounded when I shared with them some of the experiences that are over here in Texas, and some of the ones at Georgia, South Carolina, you know, a lot of the southern states. They're like, wait, that's still happening now? Yeah. Nah. And we need to do something about it. And I'm like, well, that's the fun part. That's sarcasm, by the way.
Exactly.
And however, I've heard the same thing from the other side of, I either hear the ones that they're in such an area that they're not able to really do anything or succeed at all. But I've also talked to the others that are like, yeah, don't associate me with them.
Okay, Badger, let me ask you this question. Because you have had those conversations with people that didn't necessarily look like us right here. Thing that comes across the board most of the time when they say that it's a myth. What are some of the things that they say? What are some of the points that they try to make?
That we're all struggling. That we need to be we need to fight together. That's what a lot of them say. And then
Mm-hmm.
the other ones, you bring up racism or something like that, and they immediately bring up black on black crime.
Wow.
And it's like, well, depending on the area, it's bad because of what was done.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then having to teach all that history and all that stuff, and they're like, well, that happened so long ago. Why are they still acting like that? And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't really give up. I just try to find other ways to teach or
Mm-hmm.
tell them where to look it up. The ones that get me the most, honestly, are the two different views that I've gotten from black communities.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And
So even in the black community, I'm hearing you say we got to move on to somebody else. But even in the black community, you hear people talk on both sides of it.
oh yeah, well, one's like, okay, that happened a long time ago. Why do you keep on holding on to it instead of pushing forward?
Mm.
Like, yes,
Wow.
we acknowledge that it's there. Yes, it can affect us. Yes, it'll keep us from having jobs, but let's go forward. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't be angry. Don't be hateful. Just walk in light and positivity and just overcome.
Wow.
So it's like one side is I wouldn't say fearful, but is so affected by the history and the experiences that it kind of hinders to a degree. And then the other side is kind of they went through therapy and they know that it's going to be a part of something they deal with, and they just keep walking forward. And if it's an issue, they take people to court. They fight it hard.
That's all. And saying some of that leads me to see something like this. Now we got Curtis on the line. I want to go to him as well. I only shot you 9 times, man. I still got 6 in the clip. I ain't even empty the clip on you. Why are you complaining?
See, that's why when you came to me, I was like, I've heard so much on both sides. I don't know. It's wild.
Mm-hmm. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Curtis, you there?
Morning, Riley.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Curtis, is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder here in the world?
Did you say is it a fact or is it a myth?
Yes, because in this great country, in this great, let's deal with the United States of America. There's so many opportunities here. There's so much stuff that you could do to be successful. How in the world could it be harder on one group than it is on the other group when you all got the same opportunities? You just got to go out there and take advantage of the opportunities. Go out there and get it done. Go out there and do it. You can do it. It's for you. It's America. Go get it. Is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder, Curtis?
That's a fact, man. You can't you can't refute that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can't refute that, man. And I'll tell you why. And I'm gonna use the words of the other side. They taking up all the food stamps, taking up all the welfare. They're taking up all the jobs. So please explain to me how in the world you taking up all the food stamps, all the welfare, and all the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know nobody. Maybe somebody on here knows somebody, but I don't know nobody that's got no Fortune 500 job and collecting welfare at the same time other than Brett Favre.
Mm.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just saying, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know nobody got 4,500 jobs, and they're collecting welfare except for the governor of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. Amazon. Oh, my bad. I forgot. Walmart. My bad. I forgot. Lehman Brothers. Oh, my bad. I forgot. Goldman Sachs. Oh, I forgot those names. Those people, they're horrible. Because they're taking up all the jobs and using all the welfare.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
It's a fact, man. It's a fact. It's a fact that we don't want to live with.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fact. It's also a fact that in this country, yeah, you can move your way up the ladder. But at what detriment to your social and psychological health?
Mm-hmm.
At what detriment?
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and the young brother, me and the younger indigenous Indian brother, we was having a conversation. I'll give you a prime example of the detriment. Prime example of the detriment, Raheem. Every time you get in your car, Raheem, every listener on this phone, every time you get in your car, you should praise God and thank Him for sending that black car corporation that the big three pushed out and made them shut down. You should thank them that you can now get 22, 25, 31 miles per gallon. You should thank them when you put your seatbelt on. You should thank them when you have an accident and you know that you should be out of here, but God, by the grace of God and His ability to put the ingenuity into the mind of man, that you're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
You should thank them. Their name was Greenwick, the Greenwick Car Company. But at what detriment? Yeah, you can make it, but there comes a time when if you're not willing to play ball, they asking you to play baseball. Well, you don't know how to play baseball. You're a football player.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
There came a time these boys, everything about the ingenuity of the American-made car and cars in general came out of Greenwood. The aerodynamics of the car, the whole nine. There came a time when those guys were pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to play ball though.
Mm-hmm. Wrap it up for Curtis.
So the pig pushed them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say, bro.
Good deal. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And if you feel a little differently than what we feel, if you feel that it's a myth, if you feel as though it's a myth that blacks have it harder in this country, harder in this country, give us a call. We definitely want to hear your input and give us some of your facts of why you think that to be the case. Give us a call, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Love to hear from you. Give us a call and let's talk about it this morning. Tucson, what's on your heart, brother?
This is 2022, right?
Yes, sir.
If I would subtract 1960, I do my math right, that's about 62 years.
Mm-hmm.
That'll put us all under or around that age.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
In the last 62 years, if we would look at this great country of America, the United States of America, and we look at different nationalities, and we ask the question, what happened to them? uh, uh, and then we put even the thought of it being a myth out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we look at all of the nationalities and we say, with the myths, what happened? Do you see anybody that might have a difficult time? Do you see anybody that maybe they are almost fearful of them being on the? Let me just throw this out here. Let's look at two nationalities. Let's look at the Asians. 3 Asians. You know, they build in your neighborhood for free with no taxes. And I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Come on, say it.
I'm not mad at them.
Yeah.
You look at the I can't call them all Hispanics, and they're the builders. Now that's why they want them out the on the other side of the border. Don't want them even to come here because they'll work your job for little nothing. It's prospering. They don't want illegal aliens here, but they sure got them on their job.
Yeah.
For free. They use them as subcontractors. The subcontractors hire them less, and they build good. They just finished my roof. Well, I seen that raccoon. Y'all thought I forgot about that.
Yes, sir.
But then you look at I don't know what you want to call us. What do they call us these days? They used to call us something else in 1960.
Yes, sir. Something totally different.
They changed it to something else. They keep changing it to something else. What are we now? What are we now?
Man,
we're not black people. We're not. I don't think we're African Americans no more. Any market you want to find, anybody else, they'll live in the same neighborhood. And why is the mortgage different? I'm just saying.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I'm just asking a question for a friend.
There you go. There you go. And your friend has the right to know. And your friend have the right to know. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd definitely love to have your input. Asking the question, is it a fact or a myth that black in this great country that we live in, we're dealing with the United States of America or even the world, in the great land of opportunity, you could go out there, you could get it, whatever your heart desire. You can go out there and you can get it. You can make it happen here. This is America. So, Joseph, good morning. And I'm asking the question, is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder, Joseph? Good morning to you, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, family. Good morning, sir. How you?
Hey, doing good, man. Fresh off that vacation, brother. Feeling good. Feeling real good, actually.
Hey, man, it looks like you was having a good time, man. I'm glad you do that.
Yes, sir.
We all need to take a good vacation every now and then.
Absolutely. So what do you say to that, Joseph? Is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder?
Well, it's a fact because of the fear that those who have power have toward us. We, remember, are the ones described as a Negro problem, quote, unquote. You go back and listen to Lee Atwater's diatribe, the Republican consultant, who said that, we got to be wise in dealing with them and addressing the Negro problem. He said we can't call them N-word anymore. We got to be sophisticated. We got to find ways of undermining their presence by saying, cut the budget and so on and so forth, and states' rights and stuff like that, in order to have the same effect to prevent them from progressing.
This is his language. And he was addressing those those Republicans of that day who were trying to implement or further the Southern strategy, which is to bring those former Dixiecrats or Democrats who didn't like the civil rights agenda into the Republican Party, and they were discussing the quote unquote Negro problem. You know, why do we have to check the race box when we're signing up for the military or trying to get a home loan or trying to get in college and so on and so forth? Why do we do that? Now, the opposition would say is to make sure that the institutions are being fair. I beg to differ. When I was in the military, I think of 400 and some generals, only 16 were black.
Wow.
That was by design. And so it is not just to make the institution fair, but it's also to regulate who gets opportunity. Now, these are embedded in American society. This is what critical race theory brings out, that the MAGA folks don't want taught in schools. They don't want that tool to be used because it exposes the benefits that many have through this system and the harm that is done to the marginalized folks. So, yeah, it's a fact. Now, I would love to debate anybody. I don't care who it is, professor or not. I'm not a professor. It's common sense to me.
Wow.
All right, that's my piece.
Good deal. Good deal. Rico, talk to me, brother. And it's amazing that it's amazing that in 2022 that people even have a conversation based on something like this, because like I think you said, I think it was you that said it earlier, you know, it's obvious. Look at the history and tell me from looking at the history, you can't lie. History ain't gonna lie. If you look at the true history, it would explain it to you much better than I can. But go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, it's obvious, you know, and you know, this is what some people would do to try to deflect the conversation because of guilt. Well, your own people sold you. Well, even if they did, once we got here, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was harder than what they expected. I don't think they knew they were selling us into this crap that we landed on. I don't think they were selling us to be fed to alligators, our babies to be fed to alligators. For women to be hung and cut open with they have their bellies cut open while they're pregnant, and you stomp that baby out on the ground like it's a cockroach. I don't think they sold for that intention, because that wasn't a part of the deal when people was trading slaves back then and doing indentured servitude and stuff. This is a whole different beast, you know. But I was with you at first when you said, "Do we have it hard?" But now for the, you know, when you change it and say harder, you know, I don't even want to get to that point where we start saying harder, because what happens is even if somebody else had it worse than we had it, we still had it bad enough the way it affected us. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like that harder compared to just saying, did we have it hard or do we have it hard? Is it a fact that we have it hard as Black people? Yeah, that's a fact. I believe across the board, people would agree. But then you might have some people from other countries that had islands next to them that was nuked, and they out there suffering from cancer. They might come over and be like, "Nah, y'all said harder. Well, what about us?" Now that's where the problem comes in there. Because somebody gonna go back and say, "Well, what about the Jews? What about the Native Americans?" So now here it is, we competing with who had it the worst. Because that's what it end up happening, because somebody ain't going to agree with that hard ER after the word hard. So, you know what I'm saying? I think we all have to admit that Black people had it very hard. But the matter of who had it harder, that conversation was something we might need to avoid. In order to have true support of what's right and wrong, to put the regardless of what color you are.
That's good. That's good. Cassandra, talk to me, sis. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I mean, and like we always say here, everyone has their own perspective. So if there are people that are not black on the line, you can say, well, they ain't got it no harder than nobody else, or they can do what, boom, 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 boom. How many of you have ever been black? And I mean, I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to be facetious at all.
Yeah.
How many people, how many times or when were you black and you walked in our shoe and you saw what we went through sometime on a daily basis? Do people realize that? There are some of black people that go through on a daily basis based on their race, whether it be in the education system, whether it be in corporate America, whether it be in the military. And this is a proven fact. We know that. There are people that are treated differently because of the color of their skin.
Yes.
So once a person has been black, hey, come on. Yes, you have a right to say, y'all ain't got it no worse than nobody else, and blah, blah, blah. But until you've been black, you can just give it from your perspective. That's what you think. I'm done.
Wow. Badger, talk to me, brother.
I think Cassandra's got a fair point. And that's something I was going to mention earlier, is that's one of the other things I keep running across. The people on the outside looking in, a lot of times it's hard for them to be able to relate. Or even some don't even see it, which drives me nuts. And that's the thing that I find the most wild. But as I was listening, and the people that bring up black on black crime are probably the ones that actually anger me the most. Because it's this narrative that gets pushed all the time. And it's one I wish we could all just group up and just deal with and actually fight it together. Because it's the amount of things I've heard from people of all races, and even the times we've brought up videos and stuff, is the narrative that's always pushed on news, pushed on social media, and all kinds of things like that portrays a certain negativity among a lot of communities. And then someone brought up I got to look into it a little bit to know exactly what all was said. But but the little bit that I understood, so don't take me verbatim. I don't know if this is 100% accurate. I haven't looked it up yet today. But it was something that Trump said during one of his talking to people. I forget what they're called. Of where Democrats stand for violence and crime and all this kind of stuff, and it was very much hinting at black communities. And so I didn't look it up yesterday because I was too mad. I didn't want to believe that idiot would say something of that nature. And people support it. That's so ignorant and dumb. I'll find out at some point today if it was true or not.
Okay.
And the problem that I see a lot is, how did such hateful teachings lead to the music that we have of today. Um, the use of the N word, something I've never understood. Um, I I find it so disgraceful for people to use it toward one another because of the definition of what it means.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and there's so much that has happened to a bunch of different races, and I don't understand why it's so hard, especially for white folks, to understand that it exists. I'm
Yeah.
so tired of hearing them say, well, if they didn't commit so many crimes,
Mm.
if they didn't do this and do that. And I'm like, do you have any idea how many like positive role models the black community has? All the inventions that they've done that they literally were just walked over and pushed down because of people in power using racism and all kinds of other things. And they're like, what do you mean? That didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen. It's not taught. You have to research these things.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
It, mm,
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'm just angry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm angry at the ignorance that is in this country. And I'm choosing to use the word ignorance to be
Mm-hmm.
nice because I I've had so many conversations across the board, and trauma is trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's something that a lot of us deal with, and racism hurt everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What racism hurt black people more than anybody else.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Got a caller from the 470 area code. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Xavier Johnson calling from McDonough. How
McDonough.
you doing, brother?
Xavier, good morning, man. How you doing?
Doing well, brother.
Good deal. Good deal. Xavier,
No.
we're asking a question. In 2022, in this great land of milk and honey, this a great land of opportunity, if you will, United States of America. Is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it harder? What do you say to that, Xavier?
That's an undeniable fact.
Mm-hmm.
You can unfortunately see it in every institution that we have here in the country. And I don't think there is a denial on how we got here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Laws and slavery and all those things just in a big gumbo pot that created this disparity of wealth and rights and all of those things. Now, here's the other side of that coin, right? Because once you're in a place and you now can make positive changes towards difference, and we're seeing a huge swing of that in our society now. I'm all about accountability and responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do a lot of mentoring in our own community, mentoring of young men, and I coach at the local high schools and stuff like that. And that the reason being, even when I substitute teach, I only want to substitute teach in majority African American schools,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's important that we see individuals that came from where we came from, that got out and is willing to reach back, throw the rope back down, and share some secrets. The issues that I'm having is a lot of our culture that keeps us in this cycle of grab bag, of violence, of competing against one another. It is I can't, and I shared this with my kids years ago. I said, but you can't blame the white man for not going to college. You can't blame the white man for not starting a business, because you can do all of those things now. You're middle class kids. You didn't come from where I came from. You didn't have to deal with that kind of foolishness. So you have a responsibility. You leave my home to make the decisions from the morality standards that I gave to you. And so the best thing I think I could do for my own country is being a good father in my house. The best thing I could do for our culture is raising kids who are not married to the culture that is being televised, whether it's TV, movies, music, and give them something different. Because our music that our youth listen to, they don't propagate a lot of positivity, right? A lot of it is our success is determined by the clothes we wear, the jewelry we have, how big the house is. So we're being taught, unfortunately, by our own, to change the value system, to value the things that have no value, the things that can be replaced, and don't value the things that will never be replaced.
Yeah.
Like your freedom, like your thought, family, friends, those things, once they're gone, they're gone. But we don't teach that kind of value now.
Yeah.
We teach, go get the new shoes, get the jewelry, get the clothes, the car, get the girls, and those things. And so now, is there a force outside of all of that that's not African American? Absolutely. Those systems are still in place, and we're still fighting to be treated fairly. The young man that was just speaking before me, when he talks about the court system, if there's violence in the Black community, yeah, there is. The problem that we have now goes back to the court system, the legal system. You can have a Black man and a white man commit the exact same crime. Both have no criminal history. The research proves that the Black man is punished on a more severe level than the white man, but the crimes are the same. They have the same criminal history, but the Black man is punished more severely. So, like I said, we have an outside force, but I think the only thing I wanted to add is the accountability and responsibility that we have in our own community in controlling our culture, controlling our music, controlling the things that are influencing the next generation of African Americans that can make more positive change. And like I said, we do see those things happening, but you see a lot of it, of course, coming from us also.
Absolutely.
Ahead,
Absolutely.
brother.
Good deal. Good deal. We're gonna keep this thing going, man. And this is good, man. I think we're in a good place with the conversation right now. So we're gonna keep this thing moving now. Cassandra, what's on your heart? We're gonna go in a certain order. Everybody, I'm coming to each and every one of you. Please be patient with me. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I love what the brother just said, because it is definitely within us to change the cultural variances that is causing harm to our community. And I know we were talking about, do we have it harder, and we do, but at this point I want to see us, and when I say us, it's just what the brother said, our community working to help itself, and we have to do that. If we don't do that, we're going to keep we're like hamsters on that wheel. We just going around in circles. We're not progressing like we should, because we're still going in that circle that has us bound. So I love it that he is that type of a father, and I want us to have more fathers like that, because y'all, I'm just being honest. As a woman, I cannot do it by myself. And most women, I'm telling you, most women realize that we can't do it by ourselves. I did the best I could as a mother, but I needed my children's father to be there. To put in them what only a father can give. And I know that's jumping off a little bit, but I see people like Rico. I hear the brother that just got through talking. I know, Raheem, what you do, Toussaint. We need fathers like you guys, and you're going to have to talk to men about that, because if a woman talks to them about that, it'll be like, oh, she's trying to overstep her boundaries and blah, 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 blah. But if men talk to men more, and boys, you guys can make a difference and an impact on our communities that women never could.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Toussaint, talk to you, and you're absolutely right. Tucson, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
This I don't know. I don't usually be careful with words, and sometimes it's necessary. But you know, it depends on where you sit, and there's a lot on my heart because I've lived from this point from the 60s to here,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen so much in my little time, and it seems like I've seen so much, but nothing's changed but the cycle, repetitive cycle. If I saw an article where a man stole, I think it was like he was accused of stealing $9 worth of $11, $9, and he's serving a life sentence for $9.
Say that one more
If
time.
it's $50,
Mm.
serving a life sentence. If it was, I think it's like $9, $11.
Wow.
Been in there 45 years. I
Mm.
might have the numbers wrong. Let's say if it's $100,
Mm.
and you got a man
Wow.
that's actually, let me just throw this out here for free. You got a man that's a known thief, and he was the president of the United States of
Mm.
America, and he's still stealing, him and his family. I'm just
Mhm.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, here you go with that. Here you go with that. He's making America great, and we can't wait to get him back in office.
Mm.
For stealing millions, maybe billions of dollars.
Yeah. Mm. Wow.
Okay. I got a headache.
508-924-3521 508-924-3521. Tucson, did you finish your thought, brother? I don't want to move on till you finish you finish your thought.
Yeah. I mean, just you look at young men, and you say, well, you need to talk to these young men. They see the unfairness, and they say, well, you know what? I'm gonna just make my own road, and I'm gonna travel. You don't see the danger in the road though,
Mm-hmm.
because you think that people are grinning and smiling as they're gonna help you out,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a ditch and a hole in the road that you don't see.
Mm-hmm.
You won't listen. And then there's others that's saying, well, if y'all wouldn't be like this, it wouldn't be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Stay out of the conversation. That's what they'll say to you. Stay out of the conversation because, and you know, we're so sympathetic with each other. I don't need nobody to be sympathetic with me. Just do right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just be fair.
Mm-hmm. That's
But we
good.
won't do that because some had made it either.
Mm-hmm.
So they feel worse about you because you, I'm going to just use this, I'll shut up now. See, I sit in the office, and there are some people that's not in the office. And when I come out of this office, you're going to have to do what I tell you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're going to have to get somewhere. Now you mad at me because you don't even think I deserve it.
Exactly. Wow. But I'm gonna do something here. I gotta play this card here for a second. Now a lot of y'all sitting here talking about, you know, it's hard for the blacks here in America. Why is it so hard? All they do is do what everybody complain. They ain't gonna get nothing done for you. You complaining, but they ain't doing nothing. Go out there, go to school, go out there, get a job, go out there and do the things that you're supposed to do so you could be successful. Just like me, I did it. Why can't you do it? Why is it we sit here and complain about it being so hard for you and ain't doing nothing? And all you have to do is take advantage of the opportunities that America has to offer. Rico, talk to me. We're going to this order. We're going Rico, Kurt, and then Joseph. And then we're gonna circle back around. So Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Stop talking about it.
I mean, you know, we back to the beginning. We back to the beginning now. You know, once again, you know, I can rattle off those names and rattle off these different situations and all the different institutions and systems that white supremacy applies in, where black people don't have the fair chance that you would think they would. Or some would like to fool themselves into believing that they have. You know, I know people that went and got that education and they still found out later on down the road, oh man, I just got a hard reminder, I'm black. Y'all just doing this because I'm black. This is the first time speaking about it. Because they did everything the right way and they believed in the American dream, but now all of a sudden they reached that glass ceiling called white supremacy. You know, man, we have to understand, man, we don't control a lot of this industry. So we have a community and a generation of people that are addicted and influenced by trend. The trend is profitable now. So, you know, the media, the people that own the media, you know, they don't look like us. They reward people that make this music that our children listen to.
Yes, sir.
They can easily say, you know what, man, we're not going to invest in you. We're not going to distribute your albums. We want to distribute Lupe Fiasco. But see, they have the option to say we're going to release this album or not release this album. See, with all that filth that is being said and all the things we see on TV, they still go through somebody up top to say, okay, it's cool. Let's produce this. Let's put this production out. Because it's profitable. Trend is profitable. So, you know, we say, well, you know what, since this demographic of people is going to continue to put out this type of product, and we see now that the kids are going to keep gravitating toward it because it's profitable. And not only is it profitable, but guess what? We black people pay for a whole bunch of crap. Oh, we don't mind buying some debauchery. We've been paying for a whole lot of debauchery. You know what I'm saying? Supporting people that say bad lyrics, but we like the beat.
Yep.
Or we watch certain movies that portray things we don't believe in, but we like when they're talking about making money. So we make exceptions. We don't made a lot of exceptions in this community. You know, and we'll still say, well, you know, we don't own the media. Yeah, we don't own the media. But you don't have to buy this stuff neither. I mean, see, this is to show you how brainwashed we are, how they done got us unconsciously programmed to the point where we don't even know what we're going to comment. We have a few black billionaires that are of technology. They are real producers and providers. But the majority of our black billionaires that we know of, entertainers and athletes.
Yes, sir.
Think about that.
Wow.
Oprah, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, I don't know if he's on the list yet, Rihanna, Jay-Z, and Kanye West. Billionaires. That's our excellence now. That's who represents us right now. That's who our children aim to be. Well, we say, well, quit rooting for the athlete. Root for the man that pays the athlete. Well, they progress into that too. And it's a path that they came from. Jay-Z still say he sold dope and this is where he came from, but he transformed and morphed over to something else. But it's a lot of double speak that go on with that cat. These moguls of entertainers and puppets. But see, they still produce a narrative that our children see is rewarded. It's very profitable. You can become rich and have all the material things that you desire. You know, they can get the things that the devil offers. Somebody already getting those things. So, you know, I have to look at that point of it, is that we have to hold ourselves accountable about what we partake in. The exceptions that we find, you know, when we buy video games and give them to our kids and we know that they're doing a lot of killing or some activity, some sexual activity. It's just Grand Theft Auto. It's just a game. Well, you're going to buy it just because of the game, but you know what the message is in the game. the purpose and the intent. There's nothing positive to come out of it. So we have to hold ourselves accountable. But I still want to get away from that harder thing, because I think if we continue to start saying, well, black people had it harder, then it's going to be received the same way the Black Lives Matter was received. And the simple-minded people couldn't just look at Black Lives Matter as saying Black Lives Matter too. Some of them received it as saying Black Lives Matter is only. So when you say black people had it harder, somebody on the outside from a race of people that went through something gonna say, well, wait a minute, y'all didn't have it as hard as we did. Because like Badger said, they on the outside looking in.
Good deal.
And maybe a lot of Native Americans and Jews do feel like they had it worse than black people. Now, what would we put? How is that going to end if we continue to say we had it harder? And we could just easily say we had it hard.
That's good. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Love to have your input. We've got a great conversation going on right now. We're going to continue the rotation. Curtis, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Talk to me, brother. What's on your heart?
Well, I can understand where Brother Reek is going. You know, the ER could state a level of division, but you also got to look at the fact that there is a group of people that are actually saying that it's true. Because see, everybody else was able to bleed into the American culture and American society. You know, I had this conversation with Brother Asher one day, and one of the most powerful things that I ever heard anybody say, man, was my mentor. I think this man graciously and ever be in my resume of life, because this man pulled me off the street, right? He pulled me off the street. And I remember we was in and out of rehearsals all the time doing shows. I remember him saying to me and a group of other actors, we was doing a show at the time written by the late great Ossie Davis called Pearly. And Pearly is basically about the struggles of the African Americans in the South, basically right after emancipation. So we got on the topic of the civil rights movement and things of that nature. And I never forget what he said to us. He said, I need y'all to understand that every other race or culture that was involved in the civil rights movement was able to bleed back into society as if the civil rights movement had never happened. But once the civil rights movement was over, those same civil rights fighters, those same people that were so adamant about change and getting their rights had nowhere to go. And I'll never forget that, man, because when he said it, it was like, wow. So I asked, because I was the oldest person in the car, I asked, I said, well, I said exactly what Rico is saying right now. Like, well, you know, what about the Jews? He said, oh, I applaud the help that they gave, but did the help continue after the civil rights movement was over? Most of them they had the chance to just bleed back into the American culture and move on with their lives. If they was running banks, they moved back into the bank. They went and got jobs at the bank. They went and got jobs here. So, you know, I get what Brother Rico is saying solely for the emphasis of, hey, look, let's not give the person sitting on the other option to say we're trying to divide a culture. or we're being divisive in America. But I can also understand where I can understand the person that's sitting there saying, ain't nothing wrong with saying we had it harder, because it's true. You know, you look at the dynamics and social paradigm of what this country has established and set up. You can't refute that. Like you can't even. You know what? I'll land a plane right here. I'm reminded of Dr. James. Every time we have this conversation, I'm always reminded of Dr. James.
Yes.
When
yes.
she asked
Absolutely.
That whole entire auditorium,
Mm-hmm.
if you change places with a black person in America,
Mm-hmm.
raise your hand if you would be willing to do that. And not one white person raised their hand, and she said, okay, so what you all have just shown me is that you all know what is going on, you know what has been going on, and you know what had been going on, and you know that you don't want to be a person on the other end of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, that's where this whole conversation take my mind. I ain't gonna go into the history, but it dawned on me last night, Raheem, real quick. I'm just gonna throw this out there. It dawned on me last night, sitting down watching some TV and doing some reading. We in that 100-year window.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Every 100 years, this whole racial thing and this whole racism thing comes to a boil ahead. If you go back and do the math, this whole racial and classist thing comes to a head like every 100 years.
Absolutely. Gonna go in this order. Excuse me. Gonna go in this order right here. Gonna go Joseph, Xavier, then Badger. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Joseph, you there? We have to come back to Joseph. Joseph may have stepped away for a second. Xavier, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
No, man, the conversation is still getting good, man. It's still getting good. We are, and I think, we circle right back around to accountability and responsibility, man. Just making sure that, that we're doing what we need to do within our own communities. Being out in McDonough, I was born and raised here, in what McDonough would consider the housing projects. I am under no false pretenses that the suburban project is anything like the inner city project.
Yeah.
So I don't make any of that.
Yeah.
Assumption here on this call. However, I spent roughly 6 months as a truck driver. I was looking at, kind of opening a different business, and I wanted to experience truck driving, and hopped on the road for roughly 6 months. And it gave me the opportunity to see the inner cities of Memphis, Tennessee, West Memphis, Arkansas, Baltimore. And it was humbling, to bring it full circle, when I look at the hood that I grew up in and the opportunities that we had here, versus what's in the inner city hood. It is grossly different. It is grossly different. And there was, I remember calling a friend of mine, and I told him, I said, bro, what I see here, it makes me dabble in the area of hopelessness. Because how do you get this larger group of people to think different, right? And I just kind of explored with him what I was seeing. I said, there's so much more opportunity than what they got going on right here. I was in Philly and saw probably a line of 20 food trucks lined up right there in front of a Lowe's. And I stopped, and of course, I just want to, experience the culture and talk to some folks. And I'm talking to one of the owners who have a hot dog cart, and I just said, brother, on your best day, like, what, you know, do you do all right? You make any money with this thing? He said, man, if I can walk away with this thing, man, with $1 in a day. He says, after I've paid all the stuff I have to pay just to be here. He said, I do this because it's at least mine.
Yeah.
He says, but everybody else eats off of what's going on here. And he said, the other folks that eat don't look like me. These are the rules and the stuff they put in place, so they're overtaxed just to be an entrepreneur side of the street selling hot dogs. And at the rate that they're taxed. So when we look at all of these things, yeah, you know, as I said earlier, there's some accountability and responsibility we have to mentor what we can, you know, each one reach one, all that kind of stuff. But then the other side of the coin, as someone alluded to earlier, I think it was Mr. Toussaint, we talk about those that sit in those higher offices. And the frustration of our culture is we can be sitting in jail or prison for literally a petty crime with no evidence. And we got to go spend $10,000 to get an attorney to get you out of something with no evidence.
Wow.
But because of the media, which is the positive side, we can see those who sit in a different area who don't look like us, who we have tons of evidence, decades worth of evidence right in your face. They never see a courtroom. They never walk into one. And that within itself creates, and this is for, you know, those who think, you know, in our community at a higher level. This isn't even the hood dude. This isn't even, you know, the hood chick. This is not, you know, this is not even that. These are folks who think differently, who are what we would consider professional. We look at it and say, man, there's no hope. So I can only imagine what a youth would see. I can only imagine what they would see, because they don't have the college education or even the professional job. The only experience they got right now is probably, you know, maybe some little local restaurant or whatever, and they have their music. And their music gives them something aspirational to shoot to, right? I gotta get my money, gotta get my boom. And they see the videos, they see the cars, they see the girls, the houses, the lifestyle. It's just an act. But they don't care, because all they're looking for is a little bit of hope.
So Xavier, would you say
outside of the project?
Would you say that their vision is blurred?
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely, it is. But watch this: until you go to the eye doctor, you don't even know you got bad vision.
Come on.
You just know some stuff you see clearly, and some stuff you don't. That's just. Well, I mean, I was one of them. I walked around for years, knowing I needed to get glasses, and just didn't do it, because we learned to function in fuzziness. It's
wow.
I don't like it, but it's the life that we have until we find some kind of purpose in somebody that will simply remove the veil from your eyes, and now you can see, to use a biblical metaphor, for the scales to fall from our eyes. And we now can see clearly those things that were always before us.
Yes, sir.
They were always there. The opportunities were always there. So it's an interesting. So I love how, and I'm telling you what I'm enjoying about the conversation. I hadn't heard anybody that went to the extreme on one side or the other. Right? We're stating the obvious. We're talking about the stuff that's real, that you can touch, that you can prove. But yet, on the other side of the coin, we're still holding our own folks accountable.
Absolutely.
Even those that look like us, that have ascended to some of these positions, that get there and forget. Wow. And they're soon humbled and thrown right back down the ladder. Case in point, you remember the Godfather's Pizza with Herman Cain.
Yes.
You know, he was, you know, he thought he was welcomed in, right? He was, he's the savior of the Republican Party, the black man. He's the black Obama for them. It didn't take long for one of his own rivals to start digging and found a woman that said, he looked at me or touched me or said something to me 30 years ago. And it destroyed his campaign.
Exactly.
Destroyed his campaign. So it is so that's where we are. So I'm enjoying the conversation. I appreciate you, brother.
Good day. Hey, appreciate you being here. Definitely appreciate you being here. We're gonna go to Badger. We're gonna circle around. I got a few more people that just called in. We're gonna touch on each and every one of you as well. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Paul, coming to you next.
I'm getting to a point where the more I observe things, the more I'm realizing things ain't gonna change until we learn to all work together.
Mm-hmm. And
And it's go ahead.
how tough of a task is that?
You know, I used to think it was really hard,
Mm-hmm.
but nowadays I'm starting to learn that it depends on the people on individuals' mentalities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are those of us that work hard to fight.
Badger, let me jump in just 1 second. Do you think there's an element in our community or communities that do not want that to happen, us to work together?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just shared with you one thing in the private chat. I found out Blake Masters in Arizona literally blamed black people for gun violence in
Wow.
America, and
Mm-hmm.
Trump backed it.
Mm.
It's hard to talk about like the racism problem without bringing up Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and I apologize for that. But that is the most current proof that it's still happening. That evil narrative
Mm-hmm.
that folks like them push,
Yeah.
because it's one of the things that I've been paying attention to very hard is the education system and how the lack of information that's put there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like what is racism? How is that used? That actually discussing the issues we have today. And I remember when I was in school, and by the time in elementary and in middle school there was discussions about it. But when I got into high school, they didn't talk about it no more.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they just wiped it. They just wiped any of that stuff away.
Wow. Wow.
And I always wondered why. And looking at the current state of things, it's hard to, and it something that Rico said earlier about a bunch of people fighting over who had it harder. You have the indigenous people with the genocide. You've got black people that had to deal with genocide. You've got Jewish people dealing with genocide. And to me, we have to be careful, or at least in my perspective, we have to be careful, because once you start telling someone that your people had it worse than others, you start pushing people away,
Start dividing.
start dividing, and that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it always a narrative of this, man, like the narrative of indigenous people, right? We have we have reservations, we have casinos, and da 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 da, and they're all taken care of, and they get money from the government, and so on and so on. And why are there reses that are the poorest areas in the country? Explain that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the systematic racism in a lot of the communities of see, there are times where I honestly don't know what phrasing to use, and I apologize to everyone on the line and people listening, because I'm trying to use words that you are using, like black and stuff like that. I don't know, and that's the other issue nowadays is nobody knows what labels to use.
Mm-hmm.
Because in one group of people you can use a label, and the other group of people you can't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's so much division of tit for tat.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me last week about, well, no, it was Abraham, because we were doing the what ifs of what I viewed all of us different races dealing with. And I said, outside of systematic racism, all of us deal with classism.
Mm-hmm.
The people in
Exactly.
power want to stay in power.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to use tools like racism. They're going to use a lot of different tools to keep us fighting and not working together to solve our issues.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it's horrible. I deal with the indigenous people all the time that only want to deal with their people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. They don't want no one else involved. We will take care of our own. And I'm going, how's it going? How's it working so far?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they
Good
get
deal.
really mad at me. So, Mike,
Wow. It's a lot, man. This topic here it's heavy. It's very heavy. Let me go to we got quite a few people that actually just called in. I'm gonna circle around to everybody. And I'm very appreciative of everybody that's here. But Paul, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I've been listening for a little while.
Mhm.
I think the conversation's going pretty good. Can you rephrase the original question? Because I want to make sure I understood what you asked originally.
Is it a fact or a myth? And I'm changing the last word. Is it a fact or a myth that blacks have it hard? I said
Have it
hard.
hard. Okay.
Then I changed it to harder, but we transitioned back to hard. So what do you say to that? Is it
Hard.
a fact
Okay. Yeah.
or a myth?
And yeah, I think Rico addressed that
Yeah, he did.
better than anyone. Well, everyone addressed it well, but he really focused on that aspect of it. I don't see any benefit to saying harder. You know, as he said, you know, it could really divide progress and all that, you know, aspect of it. But like, I think there are certainly many elements in history where Black Americans had it harder than other groups. But again, right there, you know, somebody would debate me and go, no, you're wrong. Look at this, look at this. But the one that I always think about is the way Black Americans were depicted in the media. And I look at that stuff and it's just like, are you kidding me? This was like mainstream American culture to dehumanize a group of people, and you know, all of these grotesque stereotypes and all. I look at that and it breaks my heart to know that America grew up in this you know, kind of culture, and you know, I don't think we're not there anymore, but you know, we still see aspects of it. And you know, there you know, some of it's being created by Black people, unfortunately. Rico also pointed that out. So you know, these kind of things need to be pushed back on, certainly. Here in California, there's a proposition to raise taxes on the rich, to invest $1 billion into music and art education for public school students. And think about that. Think about what we could get from that. We could change our culture, you know, and we wouldn't have these grotesque stereotypes that still exist. I mean, it's pathetic. Where's the John Coltrane of today? Where's the Miles Davis of today? Where's the Stevie Wonder of today? Where's all these geniuses? What do we have now? Kanye West? Come on. I mean, Kanye's maybe done a couple things, but it's hard to put somebody like that on the same caliber as the actual geniuses of the past. And that's that's music. That's art. And so, you know, we can solve these problems, but we have to work together to do it. Because if we don't work together, as Badger just said right there, you know, the whole game is divide and conquer. So, you know, I feel like, yeah, there's definitely problems, and not just Black people are suffering. That's for sure. A lot of people are suffering.
Wow.
And we need to work together and
fix it. Now, I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked the Badger, and I asked a few other people as well. How daunting of a task is that to fix it?
It's pretty bad. There's a lot of money against progress, and there's a lot of people with, you know, people that want to distract. They go, well, look at this transgender thing over here. It's like, what? That's not relevant to my life. Let's focus on the real issues here. Let's focus on education and jobs and all these other things. So it's a big task.
Wow.
Warnock. I give my money to Warnock, and I'm not even from Georgia.
There you go. 508-924-3521. Go ahead and go in this area right here. We're going to Willa, K, and then back to Cassandra. So Joseph, you with us, brother? What's on your heart?
Yes, sir, I'm with you. And sorry about that. I was multitasking. I think when our children get up in the morning at school and pledge allegiance to the flag, and when I attend the commissioners' meeting, we stand and we pledge allegiance to the flag, and we say through the course of our saying, with liberty and justice for all. And we all recite that across this country. We are part of an American experiment, and all of us must labor and work to bring that creed into a reality. It is not a reality, but we must work to bring it into reality. And I think generations before us struggled to do that, whether they were Italians or Irish, Jews, indigenous people, black people. We're all a part of this American experiment. And there are those with big money who try to distract us. And they do a good job, especially those who control the media. When I was stationed in Germany, one of the things I did was I took my family to Dachau. I had read about the atrocities, of World War II and, what was done to our Jewish brothers and sisters. And it really gripped me as I read and studied it. But I had to go in person to the location, to some of the sites, to just see it and take it all in, because we need to be able to empathize with marginalized people or people who are oppressed. And I don't care if it's LGBTQ or indigenous people, Hispanic people who are not being paid their worth, who are being threatened with the withholding of payment, and they can't do anything about it because they're not documented. That concerns me. Humanity concerns me.
Yeah.
And I think we all must find or work to get there, to that place. Dr. King, I consider to be one of my mentors. Gandhi was another, but Dr. King imparted a lot to me because I studied, read much of his work, and I kind of tried to get into his thinking because he cared about people. And, I'm concerned about poor whites who are strung out, on opioids, and poor blacks who are dying from opioids. They're giving up. They've lost hope. And this hopelessness is an indictment on this society. This society is sick. What we're seeing is symptoms of a sick society, and we must work to make it better. Our children in school, some of them are committing suicide, and this suicide rate is climbing, and it's a reflection on this society, the mean-spiritedness in this society. It manifests itself in many ways, and if we, the good people, don't stand together and fight back, then those with the wicked plans will win.
How do you identify one from the other?
Well, if it goes against the liberty and justice for all, that right there is clear to me. If you're not concerned about the 45,224 gun deaths that took place and 29,000 of those were suicide, but you're concerned about abortion, it tells me that your philosophy is off kilter.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Just wanted to put that.
So be holistic. I mean, don't tell me you love these people and you don't love the other people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about the gay person that commits suicide.
Yeah.
That bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it tells me there's something wrong with the society.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. Got a little less than 30 minutes before we get out of here. It's been a great broadcast. We're going to go in the order in which I said. We're going to go to Willa, Kay, Cassandra, and then we're going to circle around. So everybody be patient. I'm coming right back to you. Willa, good morning. How you doing this morning? Willa!
Good morning. Good morning, Raheem.
Good morning, young lady.
Good morning, Chloe. How you guys doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Sis, talk to me about what's on your heart, man. Is it a fact or a myth that black folks have it hard?
No, it's definitely a fact, Raheem, that we have it hard. But we have it hard because of our choices that we've made and chosen life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm just gonna pick one area of life. Well, I see that things have shifted. When COVID came about, COVID changed a lot of things in our lives. You know, and I believe that God told the church, now you're gonna shift. Come out of those buildings. I need you to come out of the building because my children are hurting. They're lost. So I need you to come from around the building of you, but what you believe protection is, and go out into the world. So the church has shifted now. It shifted where now, if you felt the thought that you were spiritual, you will know it. So now you got that opportunity to go out into a world where your people are really lost. A lot of fathers that are lost because they're missing in a household. You don't have a lot of mentors around, male mentors. And we're missing that. And when we went out and when I saw the community, because we go out into the community a lot, and we find that even in the shelters, there are more men in the shelters and more men in the jail house. And to me, I believe that's where it started. It started right there. So, we do, because of our choices, and we believe that we don't have any hope, Raheem. And that's what's on my heart.
Good deal, good deal. Kay with an E, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Blessed and everyone else.
Hey, blessed as well, sis, blessed as well. What do you say to that? Is it a fact or a myth that black people have it hard?
I did everything Willa just said, like choices and decisions. And I could say we definitely, our ancestors and the people before us, that's what you call hard. But I ain't been beat, and I ain't been fed, and I ain't had to pick no cotton, and I ain't had to deal with slavery. So they were definitely treated rough and had it hard. And I could honestly,
let me ask you this question, Kay.
I just have to say for what I see.
Okay.
No, it's choices and decisions.
Kay, let me ask you this question. Kay, let me ask you this question, sis. And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I just want to hear your part on this right here. No, you were not quote unquote a slave or had to pick cotton or different things of that nature, but was the remnants of what happened to our ancestors. Can that pour into us as well?
It can pour into us, but it should pour into us where we want better. We strive for better. We raise our kids to want better and do better. These folks ain't even raising their kids. I'm sitting here watching it. I'm all the way in Texas to help care for my uncle, and I got 1,001 family members here from Austin, from Houston, from Palestine. I mean, they all around, and they way closer than me. We can't pull together. Some of us just can't do it. They don't understand. They too busy being hateful and and don't want to see you success and progress. And it's really sad. It's really sad that we can do that to our own people, our own daughter, our own father, our own son, our own mother. It happens.
Okay.
And it's sad. And like Will said, he brought the pastors out of the churches. He did. We had a lot of pastors that used to tell me all the time, quit listening to them internet pastors, quit listening to them radio pastors. They all internet and radio. They didn't know what to do.
Okay.
As humans, pay attention.
Okay.
Pay attention.
Good deal. Cassandra?
Yeah, I agree with Willa and with Kay. Yeah, and several of the people on here said about accountability, and we have to be accountable to our people. We have to be. And that's why I mentioned about the men. Men have got to step up and get in their rightful place. I'm sorry. It's not, if you're a Christian, it's not the woman's job to be the head. It's not her job. It's not scripturally right, but women have been put in positions where they've had to head up their households, make things happen that normally a man would do. And then some are trying to, and I say this all the time, most of the women I know, they're working with children. They're working 2 jobs. They're taking care of their kids. Literally everything is on them. They have no help, no outside help. And if just those men that have sort of like set fatherhood aside, even though they fathered all of these children, if they would just pick up their responsibility and help, I think we would see a large change in our communities. Our children are out of control. Ain't no other way to put it. Our children are totally out of control. Most of them, not all, but there are enough of them out of control, like the ones that are part of the gangs. And I've mentioned I live in a senior building, and we've had 26 cars one month, and then 12 cars last month, I think it was, because mine was one of the ones broken into. And we see them on camera. These are young kids, gang members, that are coming into our communities, older people on fixed incomes, and doing the damage. You know what? And I'm going to end with this. This is what gets me. Y'all bad enough to come in my neighborhood and do it, your own neighborhood. But I don't see none of them going up to Cobb County in those middle class and upper class neighborhoods and try that. Try it over there and see how long it lasts. I promise you, they will shut it down so fast, it'll be ridiculous. Wow. So, but we got to do better. Our men have to step up and be the fathers, be the mentors. Like the brother said, he mentors. That's huge. If they don't have a father there, some male needs to stand up and be present in our children's lives.
Okay. Now, if we're not careful, because the conversation is it a fact or myth that blacks have it hard? If we're not careful at this point right now in the conversation, we're going to transition to a whole different topic, and it's going to start going into the blame game. And so we have to be real careful and real mindful of where we are right now. I understand what you are. Yes.
Yeah. That was not blame. That was not blame. That was accountability.
Okay.
And we have to be honest with accountability. The men are the head. So if I'm saying that, and I'm right with you, brothers, if I can do anything, because I feel like I do my part to reach our community, but I'm not a man. So it's not about blame. It's about accountability. Okay. For me, I can't talk for nobody else.
Absolutely. Kurt, we're going to Curtis, Rico, then we're going to Xavier. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Kurt, you there?
I'm right here, man.
Talk to me.
If you ask me, man, we the only race in this country that's being held accountable on every end of the spectrum. You listen to the conversations that have gone around and the thoughts that have gone around. We are the only race here that is actually being held accountable. You heard a brother say something about the disproportionate level of prosecutions and sentencing in terms of white and black, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard somebody talk about the welfare system. You understand? The fraudulent basis of the welfare system. Well, blacks is always held accountable for the fraudulent basis of welfare. We heard some folks talk about housing and things of that nature. Well, when you look at the overall process of how this thing is done, man, you got the prison industrial complex. That's number one. Well, which races being through the prison industrial complex? Whites? No, that's not happening. Because the numbers don't show that, nor do they prove that. Well, how does the prison industrial complex affect our community? It stopped folks from going to school. It stopped folks from being able to get a loan. It stopped folks from being able to vote. It stopped folks from being able to open up bank accounts. It stopped a whole lot of things. I'm not disagreeing with anybody. I'm just saying there are precipitating factors. And then when you talk about accountability towards the black man, I get it. This is absolutely right. But all at the same time, that very same accountability is the accountability that kills off every black leader that we have to some degree. They either physically kill them or they spiritually kill them. If they can't spiritually kill them, they demoralize their character and their value and their worth. We've seen it happen to Michael Jordan. Okay, get back in order. Get back in order. We've seen it happen to Bill Cosby before the rapes. We've seen this thing happen. We've seen it happen to Michael Jackson. We've seen it happen to Prince. And this list can go on and on and on, where we've seen this continuous attack to demoralize and to denigrate a man for which this is absolutely right. We need to come back to the fold. And every time we try and come back to the fold and hold ourselves accountable, all of a sudden the goalpost is moved to a higher level of accountability.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I mean,
wow.
I get it. I get it, and I'm not trying to play the blame game. I'm just saying, okay, if we're going to look at a Picasso, see the Picasso. Don't see the boat that's on the Picasso.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a whole bunch of other things in that frame or in that picture that says, wow, this is really a Picasso.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There are things there are precipitating factors that have happened that has completely denigrated and demoralized what Sis just said. Sis admitted it. For every dude, and I apologize, Sis. Let me be the first one to say that. I apologize. I apologize personally for all of us men. But all at the same time, I have to accept that there are precipitating factors that has perpetuated the existence of Black people in America. And if we just talk about, I try my best to never be the voice that those who think less of me can use to say, see, I told you so.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem, I sent you a video the other day. I really hope that you would watch that video. I really hope and I pray that you would watch that video.
Mm-hmm.
Because that video specifically, and it's short, it's like a minute, 2 minutes, specifically deals with what we are talking about right now. And that
Wow.
video specifically tells you who you should be holding accountable.
Good deal. I'll take a
Who
look
should
at it.
really be held accountable?
I'll definitely take a look at it. Let's keep this thing going. We got Rico next, then we got Xavier, then we're gonna circle back around with the time that we have left. Rico, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
This is like the second time I heard Cassandra bring that up about what the men need to do. And you was right. See, this is another reason why we have to be careful about the conversation. Because along with men being held accountable, you know, she said something earlier about men stepping up. But a woman has to allow a man to do that. You know, I was telling you about the situation the other morning with those children acting all loud. And the adults were standing there when I said something. Then the woman wanted to chime in, but the whole time she was standing there, she didn't let me handle the situation. She stepped on my toes. I sent you a documentary called Erasing Families. See, we have to deal with these institutions and systems that's in place. And then understand the mental effect of these traumas, the impacts. Now, it's understandable. Men do need to be held accountable. Right now, I'm trying to be in my son's life. Guess who won't let me? Guess who called me yesterday and told me I need to come get my son tomorrow? Because he been fighting. He got kicked out of school today. This is about your son. I said, well, would you please call me back with an unrestricted number so when I get down, I can call you and meet you? Better yet, let's make better arrangements. No cooperation, lack of communication, no compliance of court orders. I got to go to court to be a daddy. But I ain't going to point the finger at women because I know that is another condition. And there are a number of things that makes this woman behave this way, that makes her so crazy and out of control with power. And she ain't the only one. Now, I could get a little deeper. I could go back and start reading to you some of the text messages between me and my son yesterday. Him telling me how he's giving up and me trying to convince him to realize, okay, you say you seen your mama fighting and arguing every morning. Sunday night, you got to go to school with this. You telling me that y'all been moving from house to house, and ever since 4th grade when you lost your apartment and you lost everything. I mean, there's just a little bit of it. He just let me know a little bit of frustration that I gave up a long time ago. When I tried, I didn't get rewarded for it. When I reached out to people in elementary school, I didn't get no help. I don't have a figure to guide me. What else do you expect out of me if this is all the only environment I know? And on top of it, now she want to call me at the last minute and cooperate. I ain't talked to this wench in 2 years. No, I take that back. I have talked to her, well, you know, when she was screaming and making threats and making all kind of lies and accusations. It wasn't cordially. It wasn't to communicate or cooperate. So there's blame to be put in both instances. But at the same time, I know the conditions that created these conditions. So I ain't going to point the finger at her and all the women that's like her. Just like I ain't going to point the finger at the deadbeat dads that intentionally run and have an opportunity. Shame on you if you have the opportunity to be in your son's life or your daughter's life and you don't do it. If you have a child from a woman, or children from a woman that has given you all the opportunity to be the greatest dad you can be, shame on you. And for you women, they're sitting out there not allowing dads that could be the greatest dads they could be from doing that, shame on you. Now let's sit down and find out why we acting like this. What's causing these conditions? Because the fact remains that we both have it hard as a people. Yeah, they don't do certain things to black women. They don't did certain things to white black men. They don't do certain things to natives and Jews too. They don't do certain things. And all in all, it was still terrible, traumatic, and horrible.
Good
you know,
deal.
I would hate for us to start sounding like we were trying to win an abuse Olympics.
Wow. 508.
Be careful. People won't support us because what it boils down to is what needs to be acknowledged and recognized is that what has happened to the black community has been wrong and it's been hard. Now, if anybody else had it any harder than us, would that still deny our situation or deny the fact that we still had it hard? Would it make it any difference? Would it still say that, well, we don't need to try and make it a better attempt, but we need to do something to change this? or is it still gonna be the same effort need to be made regardless of who had it worse?
Good deal. Got to keep it moving, Rico. Got to keep it moving. Then we go to Xavier. Then we go to Badger. Xavier, what's on your heart, brother?
Rico, good comment, brother. I'm not gonna take the bait, as Raheem, said earlier. I'm not gonna bite the bait. But there are systems that are outside of our control that created an environment for the man not to be present, and our value decreased in the home. And no man is going to stay in a home where his value has been decreased by the woman that he loves and lays with, and the value is already decreased in the country that he has to live in. Nobody will stay in that environment. And so, Raheem, I believe this is a phenomenal conversation for another show, but there are some, so as we begin to kind of, pull in on the conversation and looking at the things that we can control, which is our homes, then we'll begin to kind of lay out those other systems and find tools, tactics, and understandings on how we both can begin to value each other's importance, not only in our children's lives, but in each other's lives, so that we can, again, begin to heal and lead together. And if, so that's my little piece there. I'm just going to put a pin in it there, but I hope there's a continuation dealing with some of the concerns that some of our sisters have spoken about, because I think that's just a surface level, what, and I hate to use this term, but what Fox News says the problem is. Mm-hmm. Fox News said black men are not in the home. Fox News said we're not in our children's lives. And those things are simply not the truth.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's just not.
Exactly.
So anyway, we'll move on. I know we'll come back to it at some future show.
As a matter of fact, tomorrow, that's a great show for tomorrow. We could talk about that and go in depth about the whole situation tomorrow and deal with the whole ball of wax at one time tomorrow. If y'all are available, y'all come back and we'll talk about this tomorrow. Let me go to Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, acknowledge. That is such a powerful word. And I think that's something that every community in our nation deals with. Every group of people is acknowledging what has been done and what is continuing to be done and what can be done. There is a lot of white folks that acknowledge what has been done and what continues to be done. There are indigenous people, there are black people, and so on and so on. The part that gets me is when acknowledgement is given and the person of a different race acknowledges it, works hard to fight with, yet most of the time the opposite race from the person that's fighting will tell them to sit down. It's not their problem. So at what point is that going to get acknowledged? I find that so counterproductive, because to me, white folks need to acknowledge what has been done, how they've hurt different races, and need to work twice as hard to help improve the situations that are currently here, because they're the ones that caused it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. We're going to go in this order right here. We're going to go Joseph, Cassandra, Willa, and then back to Kirk. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother? Joseph, you with us?
Yeah, I had to get my phone off mute. Sorry about that.
Mhm.
Well, I appreciate all the comments this morning. It's all enriching and empowering, and I think we need to explore the subject even further. I think there's opposition to this kind of information being disseminated because if we all come into the knowledge of not only historic wrongs but ongoing effects of policies, then another generation will want to act differently. And this is, I think, why MAGA is trying to ban books in schools and trying to stop us from learning the history and everything, because we'll soon realize that we're not each other's enemy.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, those with power and money who use money to buy even more power are the ones who perpetuate the conditions on the ground. You know, they control the media. And when I say they, I'm talking about big money people who buy military weapons and create wars and create friction and continue to make us point fingers at each other when the real enemy is sitting in the suites,
Mm-hmm.
laughing and slapping backs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to participate in attacking, you know, my brothers and sisters over the symptoms, because these are just symptoms of a deeper sickness.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go after the sickness.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's when you really get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
When you go up against the system. So yeah, we're gonna have these problems as long as we let the system continue to do what it's doing. But I think the more education we get, the more apt we all are to address the real problem in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to have the conversation. I'm glad to hear everybody's input, everybody's thoughts and ideas. You know, whether we're talking about the symptoms, because that's what we're doing. You know, even as a civil rights leader, I found myself questioning myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm out here chasing these symptoms when I really need to deal with the real problem.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You know, those with the power.
Exactly.
Let's have that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Good deal. Good deal. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cassandra, Willa, then Kurt. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah.
Cassandra, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. What's on your
Can you
heart?
hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Yeah. I was saying that you know, I've worked in federal, local, and state jails and prisons for over 35 years. I've worked and gone in preaching and teaching. And when I come into a room and 95% of the room is my color, it hurts me. Whether it's a men's prison or a woman's prison, it hurts me. And that's why I try to deal with finding out what put you in this situation, what made you feel like what you did was the only way for you to survive. And the answers that I got were really heartbreaking, and it comes from the home. 90-something% of the people that I've spoken to over 35 years, it came from their environment, from their background. And I want to apologize to any man on here that feels like I was attacking men, because I definitely appreciate, because I know, I don't know Rico, but I know Rico's heart for his son.
Yes.
And I know how hard he's fighting to be a part of that. And I would never diminish that or try to demean him or any other man that's trying to do right by their children. So I want to apologize if it came across like that's what I was doing. That is the farthest thing from the truth, because that's why I spend so much time with the homeless, with the prisons, you know, prison system, to do that. So I just wanted, you know, to say that. But thank you. This has been a great conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I definitely appreciate you and your input, because you know that. Willow, what's on your heart, sis?
So, Raheem, what your question was, do we have it hard?
Yes.
And I was looking back at the people that made it possible for us to have a better life than what they had. And I looked at what is it that they had that we don't have. And what they had was a heart for people, an inner heart for people. Because it starts within ourselves, Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
We could create excuses. We could be lazy. We could procrastinate. But what they had was persistence. No matter how hard any culture or government threw at them something and told them no, they said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they had. They didn't give up. They kept pushing and they kept pushing. Because they said that I'm going to make it better for you, Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make it better for you, Willa. Now, when I make it better and then I get to this point, I want you to pick up the baton and make it that much better.
Yeah.
Don't lay it down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were saying. So you look at the environment and the government we have right now to this day, they were no different than what they had back then.
Mm-hmm.
But what we had as a culture was a culture that says we're not laying down. We're going to stand together and we're going to push forward. And we don't have that now. So I'm saying if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact you can see where we're going now. And you have to look at the root cause. Always look at the root cause, because the root gives you understanding. Fruit gives you visibility. You can know the tree by the fruit it bears. It gives you visibility, but the root of the tree gives you understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So when you learn and you look at the root cause of why, that's why Cassandra said what she said. Now we can go even further than that. That why are our brothers feeling that way? What got them that way? If you want to, but we got to go where we see the root cause is right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's what's on my heart right here.
Good deal. Good deal. That's what's on your heart. Say it, girl. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, don't you call me up that late. The root cause. She didn't say the root. She said the root. That, you know, that's real business right there. When them women, them black women say root, boy, you better get it right. You better get it right. I am completely behind, and I second everything that Sister Willa just said out of her mouth, because she said it not only from her mind, but she said it from her heart. And you can tell that her and Cassandra has that God-given ability to always connect their minds with their heart and then let their mouths speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I'm saying is they always talking to you from their spirit and their soul.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have been placed in a society where people talk from their physical mouth. But I am going to say this. I'm reminded of Dr. King, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and a host of others. Men who were doing and trying to do exactly what our sisters was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We have to acknowledge what happened to them. And acknowledge, does that create a psychological block? Or does that create some fear about the idea of moving us forward?
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, I'll say this. Raheem, I really do. I'm gonna give you some advice. I'm not telling you how to do your show. But I really do believe, brother, that it would be beneficial if we go with what Brother Joseph said earlier and the other brother said earlier and what Rico was saying and what Badger has been saying. It sounds like everybody is saying, hey, look, let's get down to the serious brass tacks and understanding really what is going on. If it were I, Raheem, I would literally print out the Willie Lynch letter and take a full week. And each day go maybe a page and a half, read it, and then let's discuss what we just heard you read. Let's discuss what we just heard you read, what it means, what it meant then, what it meant during the civil rights movement, what it meant throughout the process, and what it means now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a really good starting point to deal with the issues for which we have just been talking about.
Good deal. Good deal.
To have some clarity. You know what I mean? So I'm not telling you how to do your show. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying that I think that you really should consider taking that letter and breaking it down at the top of the show. Read maybe a page and a half. I think 5 days, page and a half. And we realistically have a conversation, because there are listeners that you have. I'm going to keep it real. And I'm not saying this to denigrate or put any listeners down, but there are some listeners that are completely ignorant to the things that we speak of. And ignorance means not to know. They just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Got to get ready to get out of here. Let me go to K with E. K with E. Anything on your heart?
I just want to tell Rico, the tables turn. So pray and thank God that the man that was beating up your baby mama didn't beat up your son.
Okay, we're going to get
They
out.
might not have been beating her up. She's known for running people over and stabbing them. So I really, truly, that's the reason why I left. So once again, we'll assume that the woman is on the bottom end, and the one that's the victim, and she is the abuser.
Yeah, but you didn't beat on her. So, you know,
She's the monster. I ain't going to even say that. She the monster.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying, though. I appreciate you, but it's the other way around. She done ran him over, and she done stabbed another one. You get what I'm saying? I mean, once again, it goes back to choices. Willa did hit it on the head. Go ahead, Kay. Go ahead.
We did a memorial for Precious Doe, and she turned 25 in May of this year. And the mother, it was the mother's child, but the boyfriend or whatever he was, they cut the little girl's neck off. They just cut her up in pieces. And they were in a home with other people, and none of those people went to jail. That's where they failed and dropped the ball as we speak, because nobody went to jail but the woman and the man, when everybody in that household should have went to jail, because they had that girl locked in a bedroom that wasn't even 12 feet away from other people. They had to hear her hollering and everything. They tortured her and then took her out the side window, because they didn't want to take her through the house with everybody in there. But they heard this, and they never seen the little girl no more. And they never told us. We had to do a search and everything to find that little girl. And it was horrible.
Wow.
And that's just horrible. So I thank God for the protection of your son, because some of these people are very sick.
Absolutely.
You're right. I appreciate that. And Cassandra, you didn't have to apologize, because I didn't feel like you were actually doing that, but I was just saying that it can be taken that way, because I think Joseph pretty much said it best. We see the results, and what you see out of men not being in a household, whether by choice or by force, that's out of order. And what you see by women keeping men out of the household by choice, of just from him being no good, that's completely out of order. So once we find out that there are both sides that are responsible, can be held accountable for the choices they made, the dysfunctional choices they made, you have to ask yourself what created that dysfunctional mindset that made them make that choice.
Good. Well, listen, we got to. No. Go ahead, finish your thought, brother. We got to get on out of here, man. I gotta run somewhere real quickly, but finish your thought real quick, Rico.
We just need to discover what those conditions come from. So Joseph hit it. We need to talk about institutions, systems, white supremacy, and the impact it has on the mental trauma and how that goes from generation to generation, because we talk about generational trauma all the time. So we have to accept this, and then going back, pointing the finger at men or women is actually taking a step backwards when we already know that there's wrong on both sides.
What's going on at 3 o'clock today, Rico?
If you missed today's broadcast and would like to see or hear in its entirety, you can tune in to Standard Time on www.dklmediagroup.com.
Good deal, good deal. Willow! She didn't hear me. Let me say it again. Let me say it again. Willow!
Raheem, let's go.
Are you ready?
Let's go, Raheem.
Are you ready, Willow? You know, it's been a few days now. Are you ready?
I am ready, Raheem. I am so ready. Come on.
Oh, you know what? You know what, Willow? I'm gonna say it just like this here. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go before the throne of grace together, y'all. Let's be on one accord and let's humble our hearts. And let's ask God and ask Him to do some things that we expect. Let's be bold about it. And let's have confidence to believe that He could do it. That He could do anything but fail us. Father God in heaven, Lord, we just thank you. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up this morning to see another day. Another day to get it right with you. We thank you, oh Lord, for the protection and the guidance that you brought us so far. Father, we thank you for all the things that you've done in our life, even the bad. All things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. And Father, we love you because we know you loved us first. Father, you said it in your word to love one another as you've loved us. And Father, you said to forgive like you forgive us. So Father, thank you for your word. Thank you for the guidance. Thank you for the teaching and the lessons that you give each and every last one of us, Lord. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to fix those hearts that are hardened and open up their minds to the truth. Because, Father, we know that it's you that orchestrates the things in our lives, oh Lord. Father, we know that it's you that give us the strength. We know it's you that give us the persistence. Father, we know it's you that allow the Holy Spirit to lead us and guide us and direct us and show us your way. Lining us up with your will. Father, we thank you for it. And Father, we're giving you the honor, the glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
Hallelujah. Thank you.
Good deal. Good deal. It's been a great broadcast, and good to be back, y'all. Good to be back. We've been on the vacation, man. We was in Houston, Texas, and again, I want to thank Houston, Texas, for treating us so nicely and so kindly. Thank you, Houston. You definitely showed us a good time. You showed us a good time. We definitely enjoyed being over there in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. Don't know if we're gonna make our way back over there again, but if we ever do, we look forward to being there if we ever do. I don't know we're coming back.
Ew, don't be talking that nasty.
Houston show.
Well, Raheem, I didn't get here till Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Yes, I missed my flight.
Lord Jesus, Lord, I'm gonna tell you something. But I'm gonna tell you, Houston treated us real good, man. We had a real good time over there, man. We had a real good time, man. So it's on the list of one of our favorite places, man. Houston, Texas. But listen,
well, since you ain't in a hurry, what happened yesterday, Mr. Raheem?
I was so tired, brother. I ain't lying. Look, I said, man, I was wore out, brother.
We were all wondering where you were.
Man, I was tired, bro. Look, we by the time we landed in Houston, I think it was about 8:30 when we landed that morning, and we had a rental car. We rented the tour roll, and that's usually what we do. We get a tour roll, and I think I told you about that tour roll too, man. If you get a chance to get one, man, it's a real good system they got going on. But man, got the car maybe about 9 o'clock. Portia checked into the hotel right around 12 or something like that, man. My wife had a whole itinerary lined up for us for the whole day. We got in the doggone tour with the rental car, went straight to the not science center, but Space Center. And from that time, we went from play, bam, 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 back to back. Finally got to the hotel probably about 4:30, checked in, dropped off our bags and went back out. Got back about 10. Next morning, it was the same thing, man. Man, I was so tired. I got back here, boy, I was tired, bro. I was tired. Lord Jesus, I'm tired, boy.
We glad you made it. We glad you made it back safe. You know what I'm saying? We know you don't like to have us over on overtime. You know what I'm saying, like this. But now when we show up for work, you got to let us know that they close for the day.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure I do it just like that. Exactly. But man, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm gonna give y'all a heads up, man. We're gonna talk about accountability tomorrow. That's gonna be our topic tomorrow. Accountability. And we're gonna deal with this thing, and we're gonna deal with it realistically. Say it again.
Accountability as far as the system or in the institutions, or is this gonna be going back and forth toward people?
We're gonna talk about
individuals.
Individual group, being accountable for what it is, and like much like we talk about today, men being in place, women being in place, how we're gonna deal with each other, how we're dealing with each other, and what is the divide that is separating us, and what is hindering us from coming together, and everybody being accountable for their part in this thing called life. That's what we're gonna talk about tomorrow. That's what we're gonna talk about. I think it's gonna be a good conversation. So each and every one of y'all get a chance to come on in tomorrow, and let's have the conversation. Let's have the dialogue. Can't get nowhere unless we talk about it. But right now, we're about to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:17. You're about to exit the Morning Glow, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Now we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. Have a great day, and talk to you tonight on Real Men Being Men. Talk to you tonight on Real Men Being Men from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Look forward to each and every one of you joining us, and in the morning as well. Have a great evening. Take care of you. Love ya.